It's the moment you didn't know you're waiting for.
He is Carter.
He's Chad.
And this is the Irish 365 podcast.
Chad, this is Lou Holtz. That's head coach of Notre Dame for 11 years. Greatest experience of my life. They're starting a Notre Dame podcast this summer. I have a podcast as well, but it's not about Notre Dame football, although I wish there were. But congratulations on your success. And it would be nice if I could be on your podcast, but my schedule is so hectic. But anything that has to do with Notre Dame, I'm all for it. God bless you. Go Irish.
Welcome into the Irish 365 podcast, episode number 37. We're the Orange Bowl champs, huh?
That's right. A bowl full of oranges.
It's all ours.
And they are delicious. Fresh squeezed, if you may.
Florida oranges, right?
Yeah.
Best of the best.
Yeah. Floridian.
I mean, it doesn't sound bad. Let's get this rundown. We're Sugar Bowl champs and Orange Bowl champs. And we punched a berth to a national championship game, huh?
Yeah. I tell you what, I saw someone post on social media, I think it was on X, that Marcus Freeman this year has won 2 major bowl games. That's more than Notre Dame has done in the last 31 years combined.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I knew that. I felt that. We talked about it before. The IU win, as big as a win as it was, because it was college football playoff win, didn't have the major bowl win to me. I think it had the major bowl win to you, Phil. Mm-hmm. Sugar Bowl, I felt like we won a national championship for the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
Like it was that big of an accomplishment for me. And so, yeah, the Orange Bowl win is just icing on the cake to win yet another major bowl game against what I'll say is a Penn State team that played much better than I expected.
Yeah, they were a very good team.
Yeah.
Props to them.
Yeah, I undersold them all year long, and they were much better than I was giving them credit for. So.
Yeah, Tyler Warren and Abdul Carter. I mean, those dudes.
As advertised, right?
I'd say more than advertised. I mean, I think they've been undersold all year. Those are ball players right there. Those are Sunday players. I'm sure you're going to be hearing a lot of their names in the future. Hope Abdul Carter gets healthy for his NFL sake. But yeah, he's going to make a team very happy on Sundays.
Oh yeah, he was good. He just constant.
Yeah, knowing how hurt he was playing with one arm, like dude was a dog. And Tyler Warren, same thing. Like you knew it was going to him, he still kept making plays. Like really good player.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the Notre Dame philosophy, and I've tried to figure this out was Al Golden's philosophy. Let Warren get his.
Yeah,
but nobody else is going to get theirs.
Yeah, I mean, it sure seemed like that, right?
Yeah, because
I'm sure you all see the stat. Only running backs and tight ends had catches. No receivers had
receiver had a catch.
Which is just an insane stat for a semifinal college football game.
Yeah. And, Drew Aller was supposedly the better passer coming into this game.
Who outthrew him?
And that was kind of the crazy thing on that, right? So, yeah, let's kind of run back this trip, run back this game, I guess, real quick. Kind of follow the script we've been following. Travel was pretty uneventful. We landed in Miami, nonstop out of Cincinnati. Traffic, when we looked at traffic immediately and realized our best bet was to go directly to the game.
Yep.
And I won't say the traffic was as bad as it was going to Yankee Stadium, but Miami traffic stinks. I'm not a fan.
City traffic stinks.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Miami traffic. It's like, oh, we only got to go 6 miles. It'll take 45 minutes. And this is on the interstate.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of stop and go on 95 South. But
yeah.
Anyway, we made it to the Miami Gardens area, got to the Hard Rock Casino.
Hard Rock Stadium.
Or Hard Rock Stadium, I should say, not the casino. Hard Rock Casino Stadium, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
Just Hard Rock Stadium.
Just Hard Rock Stadium. There we go. So we got to the stadium. It was really, once we got parked, it was pretty, we had a little bit of a walk getting from the yellow lot we were in to the entrance. But once we finally got there, traffic going into the stadium flew pretty well.
Yeah.
We got very, very well coordinated, came in on the gate right by our seats, had great seats. Shout out Rob Camilla. Hooked us up with the seats, and fourth row, section 233. So
333.
333.
Row 4, yeah.
Yeah, so basically you walk in from the tunnel, and then you either go up or you go down in the upper section, and ours were like the one step down.
Yeah, walk row. Down, never a bad thing when you go to one of those stadiums.
So. Yeah, when you're in the upper row and you walk in and your immediate step is down, that's always a good sign. So yeah, we had great seats, and we can talk a little about the fans around us. I think that'll be kind of interesting because
I think after we get to the game.
Yeah, I think so. But just pre-game fan bases, we were in our seats 45 minutes before kickoff.
About.
good amount of people already in the stadium at that point.
Yeah.
I'd say probably 60-70% full.
I mean, concessions were packed. Everything was packed around the stadium. I wouldn't, yeah. And I mean, like you said, how much 60% full you think when we got there 40 minutes before? But the concourses were absolutely just packed. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't feel like anyone was outside the stadium. If you weren't in your seats, you were at the concourse because they were packed. Like, we've been to a lot of efficient stadiums this year. This was not one of them, which is completely fine. Like, concessions wise, and that's sort of for another day. But yeah, it was just, I mean, the stadium was packed, like every part of it.
There was plenty of people in attendance for this game.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Plenty of people in attendance. So, yeah, the pregame festivities I thought were good. Both bands come out and played. Hat tip Notre Dame band was much better than Penn State band, in my
As
opinion.
always.
And the pregame warm-ups and all were cool. Good to see those. And then, the introduction to the team. And I liked what we've done. We take that Aerosmith, Dream On song, and they had highlights from some of the old championships and going back like 20, 30 years and up to modern, and then, quite a bit of this season, and then boom, here come the Irish, out come the team. But I thought good energy. Now, I thought it was interesting because I felt like the Notre Dame crowd was quieter than the Penn State crowd.
Yep.
But I felt like the crowd was split pretty close to 50-50.
Yeah, someone asked me and I said 60-40.
At most.
Was my guess.
Yeah. But what I thought was interesting was the Notre Dame crowd, and we can talk about this post-game, but like just not a lot of loud volume from the Notre Dame crowd. I think the Penn State crowd was...
I'd say the percentage of wise 90% of the Notre Dame fans were loud, but there was the 10 to 15% where 100% of the Penn State fans were loud.
Yeah, the Penn State fans were louder than the Notre Dame fans.
Yeah.
And I think the Notre Dame fans who were loud. Just the percentage of Notre Dame fans was probably 80% who were loud of the Notre Dame fans who were there, where I think it was 100%, like you said, of the Penn State fans. So anyway, get into that. But yeah, Penn State come out and like it just felt like major college football atmosphere, though.
That it did.
Great atmosphere, great. I mean, and it was cold for all the Miami people, the locals. I thought it was funny. There was a couple guys sitting down to my left, 2 rows ahead of me or whatever. One was wearing a Florida State jacket. One was wearing a Florida Gator, and the other one was wearing a Florida State jacket. I'm like, okay, you just love football.
Yep.
You just love football.
Holders, yeah.
You're season ticket holders to the Orange Bowl. You just want to come see good football. But yeah, so the atmosphere was good. I think it was a mini whiteout trying to go on by the Penn State side. I mean, they had a lot of people wearing all white with their white pom-poms trying to create that home field environment. So I thought it was just raucous there. But so I thought atmosphere was great going into the game, and did not know what to expect out of the Penn State team. So it was like, okay, here we go. Let's get ready to go into this football game. I'm excited, and I got to be honest. I was a little nervous, like walking up. I don't know, just got I don't feel confident feeling like I'd had all week coming into this game.
Yeah, I mean, we're traveling, it's weird to say Thursday, but we're traveling down Thursday. We're getting all these reports. Teams got the flu, all this stuff. I mean, is J Love healthy? All this. It's just like, oh, man, one thing after one. Like, and that's how this team's been all year. Like, one guy gets injured. It's like, dang it. Like, he's been playing really well. And then.
And you just keep wondering, like, we keep going next man up, but how far?
You can't go. It doesn't seem like a team full of walk-ons is going to win this national championship, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're like, at this point, you could get by with a bunch of walk-ons at Notre Dame playing against Miami of Ohio.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you can get by with a bunch of walk-ons playing against
a semifinal
team.
Yeah, no, no matter who it is.
Yeah, and and then just so it was interesting to say the least. And I just felt like walking in, it's like I'm not feeling as good about this game walking up. And a little nervous, I guess. Just maybe those
pre-game jitters.
Maybe a little bit of butterflies, I guess, because it was just like I'm so used to winning. And the other thing that was really on my mind was I know as a fan base, especially the older fan base who've been starving for something since the '93, and even maybe some of the younger fan base. I think the younger fan base like yourself, the IU win felt like that getting over the hurdle win.
No, I don't think so as much. I mean, it was a giant win, but I wouldn't say getting over the hurdle because it's IU. But.
Yeah, but I think like getting past Georgia felt like getting over the hurdle kind of a win. It felt like a national championship win to me. And I feel like just social media, a lot of the things I saw, people felt that way. And I'm just like, it's okay for the fan base to feel this way. Now, does the team feel this way? And I was a little nervous, like, is the team going to have that letdown? Because, they such an emotional high. Did they expend all of their energy, and like, did they feel like they accomplished so much after beating a great Georgia team that they were going to have that letdown game coming back and playing this Penn State team? And that was kind of where my nervousness came coming into this game. So, it's like, okay, now this is where my head's at. I guess, where was your head at coming into the kickoff?
It's always just like, once you get in the stadium, it's like, all right, like, let's do this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We've talked about this has been an incredible season for us. I think we've had expectations for this team the last two. Like, man, we got a good team this year, and then we've always talked about this 12-team playoff for it seems like forever, and then it's like,
yeah,
man, Notre Dame I think got a really good. Like, if we can get that home playoff game, that'd be awesome. It's like, all right, we win that, we got a little momentum. And now it's just like, all right, we're here. We're in a freaking semifinal. Like, and line flips at the end. Penn State's favored by a point. But it seems like the last few times you've been in these college football playoff semifinals, like, you got the doors beaten off us.
Yeah.
Like, really good teams, but we got the doors beaten off us.
Yeah, we just didn't look like we belonged.
2020 and 2018, right? Like,
yeah.
Lost to a really good Clemson, Alabama team, but just like, all right, we're in a semifinal. Like,
yeah, Clemson, Alabama. Well, then you go back to before that, and was the
National
championship game
yeah.
against Alabama. And those last three games, we just didn't look like we belonged.
So part of me was just like, all right, let's just compete. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is a game we should win, but like all this flu stuff, all these injuries, like, is it going to catch up to us? So I'm with you. I was definitely nervous for the game. Like, I was trying to scroll my phone to get the time to pass because, if you don't go to these, like, if you don't go to games too often, like, you got to get there early. Otherwise, if you try to get there right before, you're not going to make it in time.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that's just how it is. So it's like you got to get there early. And then it's kind of like sitting and wait, which stinks, but it's also taking in the atmosphere and all that stuff.
And we like the I think we both agree, like, we're unusual. We like to watch the pregame warm-up, see what's going on. But, they get the pregame warm-up on, and then the team goes back into the locker room. And now,
a few minutes before the band.
Now you've got this, uneasy, uncomfortable. And, again, normally for a home game at Notre Dame, the band comes out and they do their thing or whatever, and you're kind of into the tradition of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Well, this was a little bit of Notre Dame, and then you got the Florida State or the Penn State side, and you're like, I'm not interested. I don't care. So I'm with you. Like, look at social media, anything new coming up on the X or the Facebook or whatever. Like, is there anything here that new information is going to make me feel better or worse?
Yep.
Because, again, like I said, there's a lot going on there, but we finally survived that tense few moments, and we got to the coin
game,
flip.
right?
Yeah, we get to the coin flip, and I start feeling better when the coin flip comes. Like, okay, now. If I was playing, I just want to go out and hit somebody. I'd have that nervous energy. Just I'm ready to go frickin' hit somebody. But I'm not playing, and I'd get hurt if I tried.
Yeah,
I don't need that. So we get to the coin flip, and we win the coin toss.
Yep.
Get a chance to defer. Go on defense first. See what we're all about. And I'm like, okay, I feel good about this. I like this.
Yep.
We kick off. Penn State gets the ball, and I think they got first down in their drive.
5 plays, 31 yards.
Yeah, and first down, and then they had to punt.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, good start.
Yep.
Good start. Like, we didn't have this bend, don't break thing not going on, but good start.
Yeah.
And then we get the ball, and I think we go, couple first downs?
8 plays, 48 yards. You're feeling really good about that for a minute. You're like, are we going to come down and score?
Yeah. If we were
definitely flip the field, though. Like, that was a big thing. This game is going to be a field possession battle. So coming down early, making plays, Riley with his arm, and we had some runs. I think that's Aeneas Williams got one. Did Mitch Evans have a catch on that drive? Yeah, Mitch Evans had the big one. You're like, all right, baby, we got tight end in here too. Don't forget about him.
Yeah, and I had Mitch Evans not like he got hit and caught the ball, and like had he been able to stay in bounds, he scores. Which if he scores on that first catch, that opening drive, I'm feeling a whole lot better about this game.
Yeah.
I mean, so it started off, but, again, even though we went down and we ended up having to punt after the 8 plays, it was like,
flip the field, though.
Yeah. It's like, I feel okay about this. I'm
Penn State back at the 2, correct? Because they fair caught that ball.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, and he fair caught at the 2, which never was a kick return, not that fast, but I always remember hearing, plant your feet at the 5, don't go fair catch anything inside that.
Yeah, don't let it go behind you.
If they're going to pin you, at least make them stop it. Don't just go fair catch it and give it an easy one.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought, man, I feel pretty good about like where we're at. A little slow start, not a hot start, but we've seen slow starts before, not worried about that. And Yeah. And it's like, okay, let's go back on D, see what happens. And we go back on D. And I think they get another first down, but
6 plays, 18 yards.
And then they
I
punt.
mean, yeah, they got off. They had, I think, a decent run on the first or second down and got off the goal line. But besides that, nothing really.
Yeah, so again, now you're feeling pretty good. Like, okay, our defense has come to play.
Yep.
Now we just got to get the offense going. And they punt, we get the ball. And now it's like, let's go, offense.
Yep. And this is usually where the team starts kicking. Like, we get 2 big stops. Offense looked decent on the first drive. This is usually when we drive down and get a field goal, it feels like. That's the feel of the game. We go get a touchdown, a field goal. Like, this is a drive we normally go score on. We pin them back. We're getting ball in decent field position. I think the 35, 40-ish, if I remember correctly, but
Yeah, somewhere in there. And
not the case.
it doesn't go as well as we'd like.
Not at all.
Yeah, so this is where Riley throws his first interception of the game.
Yep.
And it wasn't a great ball, wasn't a terrible ball.
Yeah.
It was just like, no, not good. So, yeah, now we've set up Penn State in pretty good field position
Yep.
at this point. And it's like, defense.
Yeah, they get the ball at 42.
Defense. We do. At this point, I think you and I are talking like, we just need to hold them to a field goal.
Yep.
Like, this is a win if we hold them to a field goal. And that's what we did. I think they ran quite a few plays.
14 plays, 55 yards.
Yeah. 14 plays, 55 yards. They get themselves to the, what was that field goal? Was it 20?
It wasn't far. Let me see. We got a 20-yard field goal.
20 yard, yeah. That's what I was thinking, around 20-yarder. So, yeah, they hit the field goal. And, now we're down 3-0.
But they went on this giant drive, but we showed we could stop. Like, they're not going to score. You know what I mean?
It was that bend but don't break. Felt pretty good. The running backs looked good. Tight end looks good, but we're stopping them.
And we started seeing some of that wildcat action. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, okay. And I'm still feeling a little nervous, but I'm feeling like, okay, right now at that drive, it felt like Penn State was winning the trenches on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And it just didn't feel as good.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, okay, we're going to get the ball back. We had a mistake. We'll get the ball back here after this score, and, we'll go score, right?
Yep.
We're going to get the ball back. We're going to score. And we don't.
8 plays, but only 24 yards there.
Yeah, it was just like we struggled at that point. That was by far the worst. That felt like a worse drive than the previous drive where we had the interception.
Yeah.
So, yeah, then we ended up punting that away and giving Penn State the ball, and they went on a drive.
Yeah, they started at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, I guess, a 10-yard line. And I don't know, it took quite a bit of game clock. I don't know
15 plays, 90 yards over 7 minutes and 17 seconds.
Okay.
I mean, just a beat down of a drive right there.
Yeah, so it was demoralizing. So at this point, I'm starting to get texts coming in on this drive.
Yeah.
And your friends texting you during the game when you're not doing well is never the text you want to get.
Let's just say you get a lot more texts when your team's not doing well than when you're doing well, right?
Yeah, exactly. When we're winning games, I get a lot less text during the game than when we're not doing well. So yeah, I get this text, and I get a text from my friend Ramon, who's an A&M grad, big A&M guy, and he's like, "Man, what's going on? You guys aren't winning the line of trench, the line of scrimmage. You guys are getting your butt kicked. Penn State looks like the more physical team," and I'm just like, I know, but we're going to adjust. Second half's going to be ours. I'm still confident. I expected this to be a close game. I think I honestly said on the preview that I was thinking like 7-7, maybe 10-7 at the half.
Yeah.
Now, when I said 10-7, I fully had thought Notre Dame would be ahead 10-7, not Penn State being ahead 10-0. So, yeah, that was like, ugh, they got this great drive, and now we're down to a couple minutes left in the game.
2 minutes and 18 seconds left in the quarter or in the half.
In the half, yeah. I'm sorry, not the game, but the half. So yeah, we get that ball, and then it's like, okay, we gotta have a drive. We gotta have a field goal.
Yep.
Have to have a field goal, and that's kind of what I texted Ramon when he's back and forth. I'm like, we need a field goal on this. We need a field goal on this drive so bad. We're gonna get one. Well, a couple plays in, and lo and behold,
3 plays in,
Riley gets hit, and it's like, and he went down. I didn't think he went down that hard. And the offensive line helped him up, and he maybe took a little step, like a little woozy, but in comes the referee.
Yeah, that side judge, if you don't know, they've got guys, they're called spotters, basically, that are looking for players that might have concussion-like symptoms, I think it's up in the booth. They are just looking for that alert down to the refs, like, hey, that guy needs to come out and
Go check this guy, and it's completely for player safety.
Yep.
But yeah, so they pull Riley and say, you got hit hard, your head came down, we want you to go get percussion protocol.
Yep.
And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
now he's in concussion protocol. This is like crap.
Yeah.
But, at the same time, I'm feeling like, okay, if anybody can come in, Angeli can come in. Like, I'm feeling like,
We've talked about how deep this team is, next guy up, all this stuff, but we haven't had Steve Angeli's played this year, but not in anything that's mattered, right?
no, he's not had to play a big moment.
It hasn't been any bigger than this all year. You're down 10-0, 2-minute drive.
Yeah, the bowl game last spring was like, or last winter was like,
Yeah.
the last
Over
time
a year ago.
Yeah, the last time he played meaningful reps was in that bowl game. So yeah, he comes in and you're like, okay, Angeli can throw the ball. Now it takes away the quarterback run a little bit, but he can throw the ball. We know he throws the ball very, very well.
Yeah, and you could tell the Penn State defense was selling all out to stop the run. So that once Angeli came in and was like throwing the ball, their defense wasn't what they planned for all week, right? Like they were anticipating stopping the run. They knew Riley can throw, but it was definitely a run dominant, and I completely understand. Like that's how you got to scheme him.
Well, the game plan was make Riley beat you with his arm.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And then so you play that same game plan with a guy who prefers to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And we start getting some momentum going.
Yeah, if Angeli was a starting quarterback, your game plan wouldn't be make him beat you with his arm.
Yep.
Your game plan would be something different.
Yep.
So anyway, he comes in and leads, quite honestly, one of the best drives of the year. I mean, big moment, 2-minute drill. You're coming in.
Ice cold in Miami, right?
Yeah. It was cold for Miami. It was down in the 60s.
Yeah.
And heading toward the 50s at that point. And yeah, so
Angeli goes, 6 or 7, 50 yards or something like that?
yeah, something ridiculous, which just you don't expect to see out of the backup quarterback coming in. But it just goes to show what kind of kid he is and what kind of player he is.
And all props to him and the coach. I mean, he's just been preparing for just in case, next man up. And you hear the coaching staff say it, but it's just like, I don't know if I've ever seen, especially in, I don't know about other teams, but Notre Dame team that just embodied that more. Like, we're just going to get better, even if I'm not going to be playing this week. And he's just done that. Like, you could just see he was ready for it. Like,
Yeah, I'm ready for this moment. I've been practicing for 16 weeks, and it's ready.
3 years for it, really. Like,
Can you say 3? He's been practicing 3 years, but he's only had the year and a half, and a year, and then Brock offense.
Yeah,
it's a different offense, but he's had the full year. And I mean, the good thing was, in the spring, he was getting reps because he was the number one guy because Leonard wasn't available.
Yeah, he was not there for spring and most summer ball.
Yeah, and we talked about this like early in this season. Like, are they just running Riley Leonard because they want to get him hurt? Because he's not throwing the ball very well. Like, But, and Angeli had to be like, hey, this guy's a mobile quarterback. He's probably going to be out at some point. Angeli had to feel like his opportunity was coming, and it was going to be there. So kudos to Steve Angeli, man. He stepped up and played big at a big moment for Notre Dame, made that drive, got us down there. And what was the field goal? 41 yards.
Yeah.
And, Jeter, thank goodness Jeter's feeling healthy now. And we talked about this on the preview show. Like, the number 98 was going to come up big, it felt like.
Yeah.
And player number 98, Mitch Jeter, came up big.
Yeah.
So hit a big field goal and gets us back to a one-score game.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we talked about coming into the postseason. It's like, man, it just feels like the kicking game's going to get us knocked out of one of these games. Like, the way we've been kicking all season, it's going to come down to special teams play. And we've been completely wrong on that, and I'm so happy for that. Our kicking game has obviously won us games. Like, we'll get into that in a little bit. But just been so much better. And just the whole unit, like, no more block. We had block against IU, I guess. But, yeah, it's just like we've been so much better in this postseason with the fully healthy kicker, which helps.
Well, the IU block is the only miss he's had postseason, right? I mean, that's like the only miss.
6 for 7, I think, 7 for 8. Something like that.
Again, Jeter was really good early on in the season. Got the injury. I think
A&M, he was huge.
Yeah, got the injury, and I think that injury took away from his ability to hit the ball as well as he'd like. And so he's gotten healthy, and right at the end of the season and coming to the postseason, like, it shows he's a healthier guy. And I know we've talked about this multiple times, but the mental toughness it takes to be a kicker.
Yep.
And just, be able to block everything else, just do what you do, not let the pressure of the moment get to you, because it's like shooting a free throw in basketball. You can practice those all day long and you can get really good at them, but how do you do when, like, the crowd's there and you're on the free throw line, especially if the game's on the line, kind of a thing. And you've got to have that ice water in your vein to be good at that scenario, that event.
Yep.
And so time expires, in the half, and here he is hitting a kick as time expires. It's like, okay, that's good.
Yep.
That's good that he's comfortable and like his confidence is there, his leg is there. It's all good. So yeah, we roll into halftime down 3-10.
Yep, 10-3, and get the ball to start second half.
Yeah, so you're feeling good. Like, okay,
feeling
now
better. It's not like, all right, is Riley hurt? Is he going to be coming back? What's Penn State's defense going to be doing? Are they going to be adjusting for Angeli? Are they going to stay with, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're having all these discussions, and I think ultimately Riley Leonard coming back in was the best thing for Notre Dame at that moment, and Penn State not knowing the whole halftime also probably played in our favor. Huh?
It was huge. I was fully preparing in my mind, expecting Angeli to come back and take that first series.
Yeah.
I did not expect to see Riley Leonard. I thought this is just the way it's gone. Like, we're not going to get Riley. We're going to get Angeli.
Yeah.
But I feel good about that because Angeli led such a good drive.
Yep.
I'm like, okay. Now the only thing in my mind was how will Penn State adjust? They've got halftime now to figure this out.
Yeah. It's not like it happened right at the beginning of the third quarter. And
yeah, it happened at the beginning of the third quarter. They didn't have time to adjust with the team and have any conversation. It'd have been a better scenario for Angeli to finish the game in that scenario. Yeah. But it is what it was. So I'm like, okay, we're going to get Angeli. And we did not get Angeli. I was pleasantly surprised when the quarter started, or the second half started, that out comes Riley.
Well, I would not like to say I started that second half pleasantly surprised because we took a delay of game right off the bat, which just made me so mad.
Yeah, I forgot about the delay game.
So mad. Yeah, don't forget about that. I'm happy Riley was back. But how do we take a delay game at a halftime? We've talked about this so much. We did it a couple weeks ago. Jane Harrison, the phase-on reverse pitch, and then we came like a 55-yard kick return and then delay a game. It's like, come on.
You know what's coming. Like, you have to know what's coming.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, that was a drive killer for us.
Yeah. So
this time it wasn't, thankfully.
No, it did not kill the drive. So what did we end up going on, like 8 plays?
8 plays, 75 yards. Yep. Yeah. And, you got to shout out Aeneas Williams in that drive. What a run on the route. What a ball by Riley. Back shoulder.
Yeah.
Wow.
You say, yeah, that's the thing you talk about is the big throw from Riley to Aeneas. Couldn't come at a better time to hit a running back. And it was kind of interesting because a lot of the talk from national media was how Notre Dame and Penn State were very similar teams in the way they were built. And it was kind of interesting, like, okay, our big receiving came from a running back and a tight end. Like, it felt like, okay, now here we are matching Penn State. We're doing Penn State things, or Penn State's doing Notre Dame things, whichever way you want to look at that or play that. But it's like, yeah, it was kind of interesting. But that Aeneas Williams catch was big time. For that drive. So, yeah, and then we get the run. We get the touchdown run from Riley.
Yep, Riley ends up getting in on that one, shows he's all right, and we keep it moving.
And probably the best thing about that Riley touchdown run was it was the RPO. He faked it to freaking Love.
Yep.
And Love, heck of a lead block there.
Yep.
And so you're like, okay, Love's throwing lead blocks with his knee brace on. He's not feeling too bad.
Yeah.
So feeling really good. At this point, we're back in this game. It's 10-10, and I'm like, okay, this is what I expected. I expected 10-10 at halftime, 7-7 at halftime.
Yeah.
But here we are. I'm 5 minutes off, right?
Yep.
We're 5 minutes into the second half, but it's 10-10.
Yeah, that middle eight though, we show up again. So
yeah, again, that's Coach Freeman wants to win that middle eight. So yeah, we kicked the ball off to Penn State. I think they went 3 plays and punt.
That would be incorrect. They went 7 plays, 75 yards for a touchdown. They respond right back.
Oh, they got the that was not yet. We got the touchdown first. So the first drive we scored and tied it up 10-10.
My bad.
Then we held them to the punt.
Yep.
4 plays and a punt.
They stalemated a little bit, right?
And then we get the ball back, and then we go down and get the second touchdown. And this is the Jeremiah Love touchdown.
No, the second half goes touchdown, punt, then Notre Dame touchdown.
Am I thinking wrong?
Yep. So we've got Penn State punt, 3 plays, 8 yards.
Okay.
Notre Dame then goes 4 plays, 11 yards. And then Penn State goes 4 plays, 17 yards. And then we get the Notre Dame 10 plays, 71-yard touchdown to take the lead there.
Yeah. And that was the Love touchdown, or was that the...
Yep, that was
the Love touchdown. That wasn't the Greathouse touchdown.
Yep, that was Love touchdown.
Yeah, so yeah, okay, we did get stalemate. There was a punt by them, punt by us, punt by them.
Yep.
And then we go on the drive to get the touchdown, which you said was 10 plays, 71 yards?
Yep, in 5 minutes and 19 seconds.
Yeah, and so really efficient drive. I mean, we're throwing the ball, we're hitting passes, we're running the ball. Like, we got a good balance going on that drive, I do believe.
Yeah.
And then, and this is the Love touchdown. And if you haven't seen it, I don't know what are you doing?
Living under a rock, right?
Yeah. Go back and watch it. I was laughing a little earlier before we shot this podcast. I saw someone had remixed it with some Kurt Franklin, like gospel music, and the Jeremiah Love running in slow motion.
Yeah.
Was like, I did not expect that on my my Notre Dame bingo card highlights today. But it was, when you go back and look at that, you see like terrible, like blocking, guys getting knocked over. Like Penn State on that particular play, they were winning the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
But Jeremiah Love just willed himself.
Yeah.
Will is all I can say. Willed himself into the end zone on that one. I mean, through 4 guys and just kind of dives there at the end and just stretches the ball out. And it's like, at that point, I felt like we're winning this game.
Oh, yeah. We might win.
We're winning this game.
Scores, right?
And I'm exactly waiting for it to like open up and like, we're going to blow these guys out. Like, which is kind of what I anticipated. Close through the first half, somewhere in the third quarter, we get separation and it goes our way.
Yeah, but credit to Penn State.
But it didn't.
Yeah, credit to Penn State. I mean, this is the next drive I was trying to talk about earlier. Just what a response. 7 plays, 75 yards. I think they just went through Tyler Warren, if I remember this drive. It just seemed like he was just dominating us. And then Singleton runs for 7 yards. Yeah, we start to see him. Yeah, I mean, what a drive by Penn State to respond to. Like you said, all the momentum was the Notre Dame at that point. I mean, at this point in the game. Like, we were down 2 minutes left. Like, this is in the second quarter, and we're not even through the third quarter yet, and all of a sudden we're up 17-10.
Was this the pass interference call? Did we get the pass interference call in this drive? That was later drive.
Later.
Okay.
Yeah, so then Penn State goes up 17, or ties the game 17-17, and Notre Dame trots back out on the field for probably its worst drive of the game. 1 play, no yards, and an interception.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, now we're -2
on the turnovers.
And, well, we had the turnover earlier that didn't get, Christian Gray got called earlier in the game, where the Christian Gray had the interception that was nulled because they said he offensive holding or defensive holding. But, yeah, so now it's like, crap, you're down 2. And again, the score's tied 17-17, but it just felt like Penn State had responded in that previous drive, and we needed to respond. And it's like, my emotional roller coaster was, I was on a high to like.
Yeah, so this is the drive with the pass interference. After Riley throws it, Jack Kaiser gets the interception, and Adon Schuler gets called with the pass interference.
I'll just go that pass interference call.
No comment, right?
Did the guy's arm hit Schuler? Yes. But did Schuler hit that guy? No. And like,
that you're going to hear is his head didn't turn.
Yeah.
But let's not bail out a quarterback that underthrew a ball in triple
coverage. Yeah, exactly. Like underthrew triple coverage, and there should have, I don't think there should have been a pass interference. I'm biased. I get it. But so, I like Riley throws the touchdown or the interception, and I go from feeling like we're going to win this game to like, oh, crap. But it is what it is. The defense gives up that score after what should have been a pick. Now we're down 7, and it's like, we got to respond.
Yeah.
And I think I texted, like, Ramon's like, you still feeling confident about this win? I said, if we score on this drive, I feel confident about this win, was my text response to him.
And go to number 1 on this drive, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm glad I didn't see the game live and hear the ESPN broadcast.
Yeah.
Because, like, I saw the highlights. Well, I got to be honest. When the play happened, I didn't know how he got so wide open to begin with.
Yeah.
But I saw the juke.
The second one.
On the second guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he put a move on that dude.
Yeah.
And Great House just made a great play.
Yeah.
And
he had 2 catches earlier on this drive, too. Like, he had 3 catches on this drive total. So he just ate on this drive.
And we've been waiting all year for this Great House to show up and just get the separate and like look like the number 1 receiver we expect him to be, and just for whatever reasons, quarterback play, whatever, it just hasn't developed. But on that drive, that play, it was all Great House, and he took it to the house.
Yeah, you're part of the announcers and say, well, both guys slipped.
It's like, because they got their ankles broke.
Yeah.
Like, when I went back and saw the highlight, like, later after the game, and, like, he makes the move on the first guy and, like, basically puts him on his butt to get himself wide open to make it an easy throw for Riley. And then he's got, the safety over the top, and he puts the move on him and, like, sets him on his butt. And it's like, hard fake with the head, both guys bit. And so, yeah, now I'm feeling really good about where we're standing because now we've got this 24-17 lead.
Yeah, and that was like 7 plays, 81 yards, 3 minutes, and ties the game up 24-24.
Or 24. So yeah, it's tied at 24 at this point.
Yeah, and then we had again stalemate, right? Defenses are showing up at this point. It's tight. It's tense. Everyone's feeling it.
Yeah, after that drive, I think Penn State went like 3 plays and punted.
Yeah,
Like
3
that.
plays, 7 yards. Yeah.
And then we get the ball back, and I'm like, okay, let's go drive. Let's go get a score. Let's go get a score. Let's go get a field goal. And then we go I think we got 1 first down on that drive.
Yes.
And then we punt.
6 plays, 28 yards, a minute 47.
Yeah. At that point, I'm like,
overtime.
Yeah, we're going to overtime. And I think you and I were talking. It's like, do you think Penn State will go for it, or do you think Penn State will take a knee and just play for overtime at this point?
And I think we were like, all right, they're going to run the ball, basically, see if they get a big run. And they did on first down. They got a 12-yard run, and then I think they should have done it again because we went in prevent, but we were definitely back a little bit. I think if they had one more run there, they would have been decent field goal range, like not field goal range, but really pushing it. And then 2 or 3 timeouts left for them. Like I think if they would have ran the ball in that second play, probably would have been the best thing. Obviously, hindsight's always 20/20 because that's not what happened. Drew Aller decides to try to throw at the feet of his receivers, what he claims after the game.
Yeah,
which just happened to be Christian Gray's hands.
Yeah, and Christian Gray which is what Christian Gray does.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to have some issues throughout the game.
Yeah.
When you're playing man coverage for 80% of the game, there's going to be some times, and he does have a tendency to get a hand on a guy and kind of jam him up a little bit, maybe turn into an offensive hold. I mean, he's had those called against him. It's like, yeah, he's done that.
He's got burnt.
Like but he also
responds.
What year is he?
Yeah,
exactly. So you knew Gray was going to make a play. You didn't know Gray was going to make a play, but you expected Gray could make a play, I guess.
Yeah.
So when the play came in that was Christian Gray, you're like, yes.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm feeling pretty good because we've got the ball in really good position. I mean, we're 45-yard line?
42, I believe.
42?
Yeah. And we're both saying, all right, we got to get to the 30.
Get to the 30. We just need to get to the 30.
17 yards.
And we're comfortable. And like 35, I'm 80% confident in Jeter. At the 30, I'm 100% confident in Jeter at that point. Like, yeah. So now it's like, okay, Riley, get us 17 yards. That's all we need. And what do we end up getting, like 19?
Yeah, I mean, 19 yards, yeah.
Yeah. It was like, okay, because we just got past the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't pretty either. Like, stressing us out a little bit. We met Riley on that last throw he made to get those first down, I think it was. I think it was third down. I mean, that throw was stressing me out when it left it. I was like, oh, not double coverage. Because it's like if that ball gets picked, it's 6.
Oh, yeah. Like there's no one to stop the defender from going the other direction.
Like, oh, God. But I don't remember who. Let's see. Who caught that ball? I think it was Greyhouse for 10 yards. Yeah.
It was Greyhouse there at the end, yeah.
And it was like, holy cow. Like, yeah.
So, yeah, now we've been on this just emotional roller coaster up and down. Like, we're going to win, we're going to lose. We're going to win, we're going to lose. This isn't looking good. This is good. We got this.
Yeah.
And it was just, which I felt like at that point when we threw the interception prior to that whole thing, like, we're going to lose because we just threw this interception and we're going to give Penn State the ball in good position.
Yeah, and we're down 3-0 in the turnover battle at that point. Like, or two
minus 2. Yeah, we're minus 2 in the turnover. And I'm just sitting there going, oh, my goodness. Like, this was a good game. Like, even if we lose, this was a good game. Yeah. Hats off to Penn State. But, they won. But yeah, it didn't work out that way. It works out. So now we're trotting Jeter out there for basically the game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
And it's not with time expired, but it's with, like, I don't know.
11 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Not much time left on the clock. So you're like, okay, I feel good about this. Mm-hmm. And, he'd been hitting the ball well. I'm still going, okay, just block. Don't let the left side get through. We've seen a couple blocks coming from the left side. Just line, give him time. And then he lines up, and I thought it was interesting. I was waiting for Penn State to call the ice the kicker.
They're out of timeouts.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, they don't have one.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now what? So he gets up there, and like, I think he hits the ball pretty clean.
Yeah.
And you're to the right of me, more toward the center of the field, and Carter or Caden and your mom are between us. Mm-hmm. and I see him hit it, and I'm like, this is in immediately. That was my first reaction. And I think you were a little more nervous from your angle because the ball started to tail right.
Yeah.
And then it comes back left. That Miami wind, which there was very little wind inside.
Yeah, from my angle, I thought it was looking like it might hit the post but then it just knuckled right to the left and went straight down. I don't know if it's straight down the middle, but it went more towards the
It was closer to the middle than it was to the post.
So I was definitely thankful on that. But yeah, when it left his foot, I mean, there's two guys I didn't realize hurdled over the long snapper. Not allowed.
Yeah.
But anyways, over the long snapper. Thought it was getting blocked because when I saw it, it looked like it was pushing right. I was like, did that get tipped? I was waiting for it to like just fall to the ground.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you see that ball and then it's not going the way you wanted it and it's like, did that get hit? And then it just kept going. I was like, oh, thank goodness. And then the eruption, right?
Yeah, and that ball was in the air for 3-4 seconds.
But it felt
hours. I mean, the only way I can describe it is if you've ever been in a car wreck and your mind is going 1,000 miles an hour, and it's like that took 4 seconds, but I thought of a million things, and it's like that was what I was in that mode. Like that ball was hitting, I'm like, it's good. Oh, it's good. It's good. Like, and I must have said to myself, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's going in. Like I felt like 100 times in my head. And I'm sure for Mitch, it was kind of the same thing. He struck that ball. He felt like he struck it well, but his hands didn't go up. Right away. Like normally, we were back far enough. I have the advantage in the peripheral. You can see the kicker, and you can tell typically when the kicker strikes the ball, it doesn't take very long for the kicker to give you the body language you're looking for that they felt like it was going in or not going in. And he kind of had that lean, like,
come on,
like. So he didn't know immediately. Like it was going in. I think he was kind of a little nervous about it as well. It probably 1,000 things through his head, but that ball went down the middle, and that Hard Rock Stadium got loud.
Oh yeah,
from the Notre Dame contingent, it got loud. Now it's like we just won the Orange Bowl. That's kind of my feeling. Like, okay, we got to kick the ball off. Penn State gets one play, but
two plays. They get 2 plays, and the first one was like, "What are you doing?" Might as well have had one play.
And then it was going to be like, okay, the second play is going to be this trickeration, something. What are they going to do? They got to throw the end zone, Hail Mary, lateral. I think you were like, they're going to lateral. They're going to lateral.
Yeah, I was like, get ready. It's going to be madness. They're going to lateral. Just tackle.
Rugby drills.
And it made it so much easier for us. Drew Aller overthrows one last time of the game. Just this time it's 40 yards out of bounds, right? Oh, my. Just the exhale at that point. Like, okay, this was a rock fight. And different than the Sugar Bowl. The Sugar Bowl was a heck of a freaking game, but I always felt like we were kind of in control. This game, I felt like we were out of control at times. I felt like we were in control at times, and we were out of control at times. It was just an emotional roller coaster both directions. We're winning, we're losing, we're winning, we're losing. And I think that's when it stood out to me, like, okay, we've won. Now I feel really good. And the gentleman that was sitting right in front of us was a Penn State guy, and he was like, hey, great game, congratulations, kind of a thing. There were some angry Penn State fans we come across on the way out of the stadium to the parking lot, kind of a thing, but nothing unusual, I guess. Or we lost the semifinal game in a heartbreaking fashion.
And I think either team who lost was going to feel like we let one get away.
We should have won that one.
There's no way you couldn't have. I mean, if you're Notre Dame, you look at like, we talked about that Mitch Evans catch in the first drive, that if he stayed in bounds, he scores, changes the momentum. There was the Christian Gray interception that wasn't an interception. There was the
Jack Kaiser
interception. And I don't know if you saw the highlight on that, like, because the flag came out so late, like literally
from the middle judge too, right?
The same judge that called the freaking pass interference on Kaiser in the Sugar Bowl. But that flag came out so late, like him and Schuler were like celebrating.
When the flag came out, like it wasn't just like the flag came out quickly. There was a late flag. I'm not so sure that should have been thrown. It should have been somebody else's call, not his. And so anyway, but if we would have lost that game, there would have been so much. Oh, we should have won it by the fan base, and rightfully so. I think Penn State's got to have that same feeling, like, oh, we should have won that game. Because they clearly showed at times that they were the better team. They weren't the better team for the entire 60 minutes. But there was times during that game they were the better team. They were out physical. They were opposing their will, and there was times they made mistakes. And now they're looking at this all going, oh, I can't believe you threw that ball. A lot of what ifs. I mean, had they run that ball instead of throwing it and try to get the plays,
run something different, pitch sweep, whatever, because the screen passes, the slants, the jet sweeps, the outside runs, like they had success that early. So anyway, we got through that, and then it's like exhale, relieve, because we just won us an Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
And that was a good feeling. And that's where I kind of laughed, because we talk about these Notre Dame fans, and there were some fans to the right of us, and they had the lanyard on where they were at the president's pregame celebration tailgate thing.
Yeah.
I was so annoyed by that time. And now, it didn't help that they seemed to have to go to the bathroom every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But they weren't sitting there drinking beers that I could tell. Like, if they were sitting there, like, drinking beers left and right, and your bladder can only do so much.
Yeah.
But, like, we won the game, and they just weren't cheering at all.
Like, they were sitting the whole game.
Yeah. Like, they were the sit down, and I looked around, and that's in our area, there was a lot of more senior Notre Dame fans.
Yeah.
And they were not nearly as, like, rowdy or vocal, but a lot of them would clap or something during the big game.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, okay.
Like, I understand, like, they're older, like, they might not stay in the whole games a lot. Like,
standing and yelling like an idiot the whole game, I expect, I'm 10, 15 years from now, I'm not going to be able to do that anymore. Yeah. But, it's one of those things. It's like, oh my goodness, this is the people who sit at Notre Dame Stadium and have given us the reputation for not being a difficult place to play.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately, I think a lot of those people have moved themselves up into the suites.
Yep.
And we've gotten the more rowdy crowd into the bowl.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I cannot believe that, like, we just won the Orange Bowl in what was a very emotional, up and down roller coaster game, and you're sitting there not clapping.
Yeah. And
then they turn around and, like, couldn't get out of there fast enough as soon as the game was over. I'm like, you got to stay for the alma mater. Like, where's your Notre Dame fandom at?
Yeah.
So, all right, rule number one, win or lose, you go to a Notre Dame game. You stick around for the band to play the alma mater.
Yep.
You stick around, and if the band's not there, the team's going to sing it.
Yep.
But you stick around for that portion.
Yep.
If you don't stick around for that, then I'm not sure about you're not a real Notre Dame fan, as they say on the social media.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting, because I did some social media scrolling during timeouts, and I started seeing, and I hadn't seen this in 4 or 5 weeks, the negativity, like, oh, this team sucks, we're so awful, why do we have, Riley Leonard for Heisman was off again, he was, it was all that, like, I started seeing more of that negativity coming out in Notre Dame fans.
People ready to bail, huh?
Yeah, it was like, okay, there's the fair weather, we're having a tough game, and we are having a tough game. But
was expected this time of year, right?
But yeah, I mean, I think we both kind of felt like we were going to win by 2 scores.
Yeah.
But I don't think either one of us were shocked the fact that this game went to a final score.
No, I mean, I think if we played this Penn State team 5, 6, 7 weeks ago, it's a 2-score game. But yeah, I mean, they were much better. We undersold them. I mean, like I said, Abdul Carter, Tyler Warren, excellent players.
Yeah. What I saw against Boise State, I'm like, yeah, they're dominating Boise State, but
maybe Boise State might be a good team.
Maybe I'm underselling Boise State at that point. I'm with you. But yeah, it was like, okay, that's just not a great. No, they were a good Penn State team.
Yeah,
we were very fortunate to be able to come out on top of a very tough fought game against a very good Penn State team.
Yeah,
and the gentleman in front of me, like I said, he was a Penn State grad, Penn State guy, and he just kept saying, "We should have beat Ohio State. We should have beat Ohio State. We let Ohio State off the hook." Now, that was a different Ohio State team that Penn State played than what Ohio State's been playing now.
Yeah,
but we also handled a Georgia team that beat Texas twice, and Texas give Ohio State everything they wanted in that game. I mean, it was so. As we start talking about this later this week, and we get into our preview, it's going to be interesting to kind of really get into the Ohio State team and kind of figure out where they feel and how we feel. But so yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of just joy, I think, and like feel good about that win. And then we had to go to the parking lot. Come on, Miami.
Yeah,
come on. We sat in the parking lot, like, okay, so we stay for the post-game celebration.
Yep.
And 50% of the crowd that's Penn State, maybe 60 has left.
Yep.
And probably another 10, 15% of Notre Dame fans
have already left.
I mean, there was people.
They saw the trophy celebration, but then there was interviews and
we weren't in a hurry to get out.
Yeah.
We even stopped and went down to the 200 level and was like looking for a merch tent.
Yeah.
Because, wanted to see if we could find us a
Orange Bowl
game official Orange Bowl championship shirt.
Yeah.
Which we didn't come across. I'm sure they were selling them. We just didn't hit it.
Yeah.
So, and then we had a long walk,
we don't leave the stadium probably 45 minutes after the game, be my guess.
Easy 45 minutes after the game. So then we get to the car and I'm just like, stunned that when we get to the car, it's a parking lot. It's still a parking lot. Like,
Or the parking lot of Penn State fans sitting still.
yeah, there's
It's
Penn
not
State
like they're
fans
walking past cars.
in their cars and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, they've had a half-hour head start on us, easy, if not 45 minutes. Like,
So that's, I think at that point we're like, yeah, it's gonna be a while. Like, you don't see Notre, like sometimes you'll, like in a game like that, it's like, okay, you see some Notre Dame fans and it's slowly moving, but it was they're in line at park.
yeah.
Like yeah.
It was the least efficient operation of game day.
Which I'll say this 1,000 times. I'd rather have it after the game than before the game.
Absolutely.
Like New York. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
as long as I'm in the game, I can sit in the car after the game, after a good win. I'm sure it's tough for the Penn State fans. I have to sit there and watch all these Notre Dame fans come back from the celebration, still be sitting there. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they'd like to got to their hotel, and got out of the area.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm Hard Rock Stadium, great stadium,
Oh, yeah.
great, like
Yeah,
very
I
cool.
don't think I said this being. There's not many times like I walk into a stadium, I'm just like, wow. You know what I mean? And that was one of them. Like, night game. I know people talk about the Rose Bowl, but the field looked phenomenal. I mean, just two historic programs. It was just like, wow. Like, this thing looks incredible.
Yeah, great environment.
Great pageantry.
I understand why the Orange Bowl is such a big game.
Yeah.
Now, we got to talk about the Orange Bowl Hall of Fame for just a second.
Yeah, we didn't.
Because we didn't bring this up.
Yeah.
But this is bonus content, I guess. Which
I don't know if they show this on TV or not.
I doubt they did.
Yeah.
But if they didn't, they probably showed clips of it. I haven't seen anything. So at halftime,
Nope, pregame.
or pregame, I'm sorry, pregame, they're inducting 3 people into the
Orange Bowl Hall of Fame,
Orange Bowl Hall of Fame.
which cracks me up that these bowl games have a Hall of Fame because most of these guys are in 1 or 2 max.
Yeah.
Like, they're not playing.
You had a really good game.
Even a coach, it's like they're not in this 5 or 6 times. But yeah.
So they announced the first recipient of this year's Hall of Fame induction, and it's a gentleman by the name of Matt Leinart.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about that was, Notre Dame fans are going to boo him.
Yeah.
And he properly got booed by Notre Dame fans.
Yeah.
And it was fairly loud, but it was, and it was kind of like, he kind of smiled like, okay.
He was expecting it. Like, I'm sure when he found out 3 months ago he's going to Orange Bowl, it's like, sweet, sounds good. Like,
yeah.
have a good, go to this game in Miami, have a good time. Like,
yeah, I'm going to going to give me an orange jacket or whatever.
Yeah.
This would be great. So he got booed, and he kind of smiled and took it well because he, on the Big Ten kickoff or the Big Noon kickoff or whatever the Big Ten,
which they probably didn't show on ESPN because there's a bunch of Fox guys going in.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I mean, he plays kind of that heel with Brady Quinn kind of a thing, and they go back and forth. So he probably just kind of like, yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
And then the next guy going in was old coach Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
And I thought it was absolutely hysterical. The best part of that was Penn State had plenty of reason to boo Urban Meyer. Notre Dame has plenty of reason to boo Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
The boos were even louder when Urban Meyer came on, and they were like, Urban Meyer. And the best part of it was, who was handing Urban Meyer his trophy? Brady Quinn.
Yeah.
And you could just see Urban Meyer kind of like, his ego took a hit.
Yeah.
Like, his ego took a hit. Like, it bothered him.
Yeah.
And Brady Quinn just gets the biggest smile on his face, like, yes.
Yeah.
You guys are booing Coach Meyer.
After Matt Leinart, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure Brady got a smile when Leinart got booed, but it was like, his smile was huge.
Yeah.
And that was pretty funny. And I literally think that hurt Coach Urban Meyer's feelings. Like, Leinart was kind of like, oh, that's funny, took it a grain of salt, whatever. Urban Meyer, I think, was kind of like, people don't love me? Like, what? People supposed to love me? But he needed the Ohio State fans to get that reaction he wanted. And then the funny part was the third guy they were bringing in, Vince Wilfork.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, you could just see as they're getting ready to announce him, they put him on camera. He's nervous. Like,
because, Leinert's first one got booed. Meyer was 2 times louder. He's like, oh, crap. Like,
and, like, he played at Miami.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of bad blood between Miami and Notre Dame, historically, but not quite the same. Yeah. And I think he was kind of like, you could just see, like, this.
He was relieved when he didn't get booed.
Oh, crap. Yeah, and then, like, he gets this, like a golf clap. It wasn't but just the fact he didn't get booed was just like,
oh, thank goodness.
So that was probably the funniest thing I think happened during the entire event. Everything else was stressful as all get out.
Yep.
But that was funny, and I think it was just kind of like, we had some comedy there. So, all right. So yeah, that kind of sums up the game. That sums up the experience. We got to spend the following day in the Miami area, and that was kind of nice. It was sunshine and warm.
A little different, huh?
A little different. There was a snowstorm going on here in Northeast Indiana, so we weren't mad. It didn't delay our travel. I think our flight got delayed like 30 minutes, 40 minutes because of the weather getting out of Cincinnati coming to. But it wasn't bad. A little bit of snow on the road when we got back to the Cincinnati area, but it wasn't too bad. I think 20 minutes, 30 minutes into the drive, and we're back in Indiana, and we're on pretty good state highways. So it was a smooth ride back. And now it's like, spent the day recouping, recovering, and now.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we didn't because we had Caden had a futsal game. You had some work
to
do, and then we went and watched Notre Dame hockey.
Yeah.
Destroy Michigan, which Michigan got the better of the night before, so it was good to go see that. And anytime you go to a hockey game and you see 8 goals, you've seen a hockey game.
Yep.
And what was that stretch there in hockey? Like
3 goals in 30 seconds.
3 goals in 30 seconds. Like Notre Dame hockey was.
Yeah.
They were lit. So I always say if you like hockey, go see Notre Dame hockey.
Yeah.
5,000 person barn, and it's always a great atmosphere. So.
Wow, it's a good time.
So we got to enjoy a little bit of hockey on Saturday, and then we kind of get back to it, get the podcast out here on Sunday.
Yeah.
Start thinking about national championship game.
Yep.
What does it mean? How do we win it?
Somehow, some way, we're going to, right?
Like this is a team of destiny. As I sit here today, and Ohio State's playing as good as they are,
9.5 point favorites.
9.5 point favorites. It's like Ohio State should win this game. I'm just like, just don't get blown out.
Yep.
Is my first thought. But then I'm like, wait a minute, we're a team of destiny. And sometimes you can't explain it, but when you're a team of destiny, the ball bounces your way, things go your way. So I'm nervous, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, we'll be back at you later this week, getting you what we think is going to make the difference in this game. I mean, I think we both got some ideas what's going to happen, but we're not on the coaching staff. We really don't know, but we're just Notre Dame's going to win this national championship. It just feels like it to us.
There's a gut feel somehow, some way.
Yep, don't know how right now, but their boys going to pull it off.
We'll tell you how next podcast. We'll tell you how.
Yep.
All right.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Irish 365 podcast.
You can find us wherever you get your podcast.
We are on YouTube, X, Instagram, and Facebook.
Just search for Irish 365 Pod.
And you can always reach us at our email, irish365pod@gmail.com.
Good night.
And God bless.